People Under the Stairs is a 1991 horror film directed and written by Wes Craven and starring Brandon Quinton Adams, Everett McGill, and Ving Rhames, as two adults must fight for their lives after breaking into a house occupied by a brother and sister and their stolen children. Scream Factory presents this film for the first time with a new 4K scan with Dolby Vision and HDR10. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today guys, we are here to talk about the People Under the Stairs on 4K. Look at that cover, guys. This is the latest release from Scream Factory, latest 4K release from Scream Factory, and I'm very excited to talk about this one here today because I just watched it this morning, and I definitely got some things to say about it. We're going to talk about, though, how it compares to the 2015 Blu-ray that Scream Factory put out 8 years ago. Is this worth an upgrade? We're going to break it all down. Look, before we get into it, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below, guys, if you have watched People Under the Stairs before. Have you heard of this movie? I mean, this is a Wes Craven classic. This is one of his most well-known horror movies, I would say. I mean, it's up there with Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, of course. I feel like a lot of people know the movie The People Under the Stairs. But let's go ahead and talk about the movie itself for a little bit. I do like to talk about the actual film, then we'll dive into the transfer and the audio and the special features and the packaging and all that good stuff. I like to paint the overall picture for you guys. So People Under the Stairs came out in 1991, of course, written and directed by the legendary horror directing icon Wes Craven. And I would say, I have not seen this movie in a long time, but I would say this is at least in my top 5 Wes Craven films. Now, I have not seen every single movie that he's done. I still need to see Serpent in the Rainbow and Deadly Blessing and Shocker. I haven't seen those 3 big ones. I know I need to check those out. But as of right now, I would say this is firmly planted in my top 5 Wes Craven films. So really enjoy this movie. I had not seen this since I was a kid, and it's interesting to go back and watch a movie like this that I just remember so vividly from when I was a child. Like, this movie really freaked me out when I was a kid. It was just something about it. When they go down that basement, they see all the things behind the bars. It's scary, and how it plays in the film now and how it played for me back then when I was a kid is completely different. I still say there's good moments of tension here. There's some scares for sure, but it's not the scariest movie that I've ever seen. It does have some really like horrific imagery spread throughout, but I would say now when I watch this, I think that the parents, the brother and sister, are scarier than the actual like monsters themselves that are under the stairs, which is the title of the movie. So I don't want to give everything away. But this is basically a home invasion movie that kind of flips that concept on its head a little bit. It's a home invasion movie, and we've seen it recently with movies like Don't Breathe, where the homeowners turn out to be more dangerous than the actual people that are invading the home. And then that kind of flips that whole concept on its head. So I'm not going to go into like the directions that the movie goes in, because there's a lot of unique twists that happen. There's some unexpected things that happen throughout the movie that, to be honest, I forgot about some of the things that happen throughout this movie that you're not going to expect, especially the way that this movie sets up the main characters. And then just where they start and where they end up. There's just a lot of things that happen throughout this movie. It's very much so a commentary on race and social class in the 90s. It doesn't handle the material quite as well as I think Candyman would a year later, but it's still very good in the way that it handles everything and just kind of how that time period was. Like, I feel like there was a lot of movies that tackled that stuff in the 90s because it was such an issue. It's still an issue today, not acting like it's not, but in the 90s, I feel like it was really kind of coming to light, just some of the areas, the poor areas, the neighborhoods, and the corrupt landlords that were just purposefully letting those areas deteriorate for their own monetary gain. The film really captures that and kind of hones in on that theme just all throughout the movie. You just feel it. But like I said, it doesn't tackle the material. It doesn't feel as focused as Candyman would do a year later, but it's still along those same lines. So very good horror film. You could tell that Wes Craven did have something to say when he made this movie, and I think he got across that message very well. And the little boy in this movie, played by Brandon Adams, who was in The Mighty Ducks, like that's where I know him from, and also The Sandlot. So a lot of kids movies in the 90s he was in. He is excellent in this movie, and he's pretty much the lead of the film. So I think that this movie is very different in that respect, that it's a little kid that's leading this movie. So, and he does a great job in this film. Like, he's excellent. But the mom and the dad, or the brother and the sister, whatever you want to call them, they're both super awesome in this movie. Very menacing, terrifying. The mom just has a look to her. Like, I don't know what other movie she was in. She kind of looks like Zelda from Pet Sematary, like just like a more polished version of Zelda. I don't know if that actress played her or not, but that actress just feels like she was built for horror. But both of them are great in the movie. I like the little girl as well, or not little girl, but kind of like teenage girl. She's good in the movie. Everybody's great in this movie, though. Ving Rhames, is a very early performance from him, is great in the movie as well. Overall, though, I don't think that the conclusion to this movie is as strong as the rest of the film. So, but I still really enjoy this movie. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Really held up for me. So getting into the actual transfer itself. So like I said, I'm going to tell you if it's worth upgrading over this Blu-ray. And right out the gate, guys, I'm going to tell you, hell yeah, it's worth upgrading over this Blu-ray. First off, this is an 8-year-old Blu-ray. This came out before 4K was even a thing. So this is just a 2K scan. This is not a 4K scan. So this is a hell of an upgrade over that Blu-ray. Like, that Blu-ray, I hate to say it, is dog crap compared to this 4K. Now, this does include a 4K and a Blu-ray with a 4K scan as well. So even the Blu-ray in this set looks better than the Blu-ray in this set. So if you have this, I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I might keep it just because it has that artwork and I really like the artwork, but there's really no need for me to ever watch this Blu-ray again. This 4K though, honestly, like, blew me away. I wasn't sure, just from memory, thinking about this movie. Like, it's not the most impressive movie, just like visually. Like, it's all set in this one location in this house. Yes, they go out of the house for certain sequences, but most of the movie primarily takes place inside the house. But I thought it just looked beautiful across the board. Like, the house, like I said, is much bigger than I remembered, and it is on perfect display in this movie with this 4K restoration. Gorgeous detail and clarity, and the HDR makes the colors pop like never before. Like, I didn't remember this movie being that colorful, but there are definitely some very like colorful sequences inside the house, some scenery inside the house, some things that the characters are wearing, like Ving Rhames' outfit and hat is very colorful. He has this like thing on his shirt, and the hat and all that stuff is very colorful. Looks great with that HDR. The mom's dark red lipstick in contrast to her pale face, which is very pale, and the bright red hair, that looks incredible and just adds to the overall like terrifying look of this woman. And the blood and gore is deep and vibrant. Like, the dad's wearing this like yellow apron at a certain point in the movie, and there's blood all over. The dad's got blood on him like the whole movie. And that stuff just looks like deep and dark and red and rich. And it just looked excellent, guys. I cannot say enough good things about this transfer. The black levels are excellent, and the level of depth on display here is honestly astonishing. Like, the transfer makes you appreciate the set design of the house like never before. Like, I was noticing things in this house that I never would have noticed when I watched this on VHS tape when I was a kid. So like, I was just seeing this movie, and that's honestly why maybe the house just seemed bigger to me in this movie, because you could actually see all of it. And just, it's a dark film. Like, you're inside the house and it's dark. They like kind of turn the shades even though it's like bright outside and sunny. So most of the movie's like really dark inside, and with the exception of when they get into the little girl's room. But like I said, the black levels are so good and so crisp, and that contrast is just perfect. You can see everything. Like, there's no issue of it. Like, it's dark, but you can make everything out. And I just think that it's honestly just one of the most perfect transfers in terms of like contrast between the darks and the brights that I've ever seen. Like, it really looked good, guys. I cannot overstate this transfer. Like, this is honestly one of Scream Factory's best. I think that Scream Factory is just really coming into their own with 4K restorations. Like, Carrie was excellent. Dawn of the Dead was fantastic. And this is another spectacular 4K transfer from them this year. Like, I cannot say enough good things about it. I just really thought this looked spectacular. Getting into the sound though, guys, great sound design that plays out great in the 5.1 DTS Master Audio. There's also a 2.0 mono track, which I honestly thought sounded, I don't know if it's come out that there's any issues with the audio or anything on here. I'm not a sound guy. I'm not a sound expert. I will never claim to be. I'm listening to this on my sound bar with a subwoofer, and it can simulate Atmos and 5.1 and all that stuff. But I switched it back and forth from the 2.0 and the 5.1, and usually I can tell a difference. I couldn't tell a difference between the two, so I don't know if the 2.0 is the 5.1, if they forgot to add that, or if there's an issue. I don't know, guys. There may be an issue with the audio here is all I'm saying, because they sounded very similar. But like I said, not an expert. But the house noise with the creaks and the thuds and several gunshot echoes throughout this movie, like all that stuff, you could just hear it so well and just reverberating up the walls. Like, my subwoofer just made that, all of that sound fantastic. So the dad's like running through the movie, just like shooting his shotgun like every 5 minutes, and it's a loud movie. And like I said, just the ambient noises of the house and the creaks and just the score itself, all that stuff just sounded excellent. So, and getting into the packaging, you know, I dig this, guys. I really do. This is the Scream Factory original poster art. You cannot beat the original poster for The People Under the Stairs. Just the skull above the house. Like, it's just fantastic. So I love it. And yes, I like this artwork as well. That's the reason I'm going to keep this Blu-ray. Like, it's really great artwork that I believe Justin Osborne did, but just great artwork. But you can't beat that classic poster artwork right there. Just fantastic. I'm going to show you the spine right here if my camera will focus. Let me flip that for you guys. Let me flip that. All right, is that better? All right, now I'm going to show you the back right here. You got a little quote at the top. You got the synopsis. You got all the special features, which we'll go over here in a second. And then the casting lists and all the specs right there. Take it out of the slipcover. You got the same thing going on here. I already really unboxed this recently in an unboxing collection update video, but all right, and then we'll open it up, and we got some disc art on the Blu-ray with the 4K scan and the 4K itself, and no reversible cover art. So I always knock, I feel like the least they could do is put this artwork in the reversible of this. I'm not saying to put it on the slipcover, but they could at least put that in here so you get that classic Scream Factory you know, artwork. So really good packaging though. I dig the Scream Factory original poster on their 4Ks. At least they try to make it look different than their Blu-rays. Like Arrow Video and Criterion don't do that. So at least Scream Factory does that. But getting into the special features. So all the same special features are present on this that were present in the original 2015 Blu-ray, but they are great special features. I had never watched them before. You do get an audio commentary with Wes Craven. You get an audio commentary with Brandon Adams, Jan Birch, AJ Langer, and Sean Whalen. House Mother interview with actor Wendy Roby, who is the mother in the movie. What Lies Beneath the Effects of the People Under the Stairs, featuring interviews with special makeup effects artists Howard Berger, Robert Kurtzman, and Greg Nicotero, who did the you know, makeup effects in this one, which he just did a great job. That's a legend in the industry. House of Horrors interview with director of photography Sandy Cecil, setting the score. Interview with composer Don Peake. Great score in this movie. Beyond the scenes or behind the scenes footage, theatrical trailer, TV spots, vintage making of featurette, original storyboards, and still gallery. And all that stuff's on the Blu-ray with that 4K scan, but on the 4K disc itself, you do have the new 2023 4K scan of the original camera negative, audio commentary with writer-director Wes Craven, audio commentary with actors. And it's not saying this on the back right here, but there are special features on the 4K disc itself. And it is a 21-minute interview with Wes Craven talking about the People Under the Stairs. So I have no idea why they left that off. It is not on the Blu-ray. Like, there are special features, multiple special features and interviews on the 4K disc itself. So there are special features on the 4K disc, and there are also special features on the Blu-ray. I don't know why Scream Factory does that, but they leave stuff off the back like all the time. Like, it's a good thing I actually checked it out, or I would have been completely lost doing this review. But yeah, you got special features on the Blu-ray, like on Alligator, just for example. They left off the interview with Bryan Cranston off the back of the Alligator 4K. So I don't know why Screen Factory does that, but look, guys, this is a spectacular release by Screen Factory. It's honestly one of my favorite looking 4Ks that I've seen all year, because this is a movie I remember watching when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and it creeped the hell out of me. And I watched it on VHS, and like whenever you have that experience where you rewatch a movie that you haven't watched since you were like 12 or 13 and it looks the way it does, like this looked great, guys. Such great quality with this, guys. I cannot overstate how great this 4K transfer is from Screen Factory. So if you have this, if you're on the fence about upgrading, I say if you love this movie, upgrade immediately, because this is just fantastic. $29.99, so it's a little bit pricey, but for what you get here for the quality, I do absolutely recommend The People Under the Stairs on 4K. So thank you all so much for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.